again with another vlog. Thank y'all for tuning in to Black Girl White Coat. So today I'm here with a couple of my classmates, and I know I told you guys last vlog that I'd be coming back with a vlog specifically for my non-traditional students. So that's what I have for you guys today. So I just want these, fellow classmates of mine, beautiful people, to introduce themselves and tell y'all a little bit about their program, what they did, and just some advice and tips that they would give to people who may not be going the traditional route, straight from undergrad to medical school. Yeah.
I'll be first.
Yeah.
Okay, my name's Alexis. I'm also a first year with Sandra. I guess the first thing, because when you're going down this route of a gap year, it's really kind of nerve-wracking. You feel really insecure. So I would say, first of all, that anybody that you ever meet that did a gap year, they never regret it. They actually prefer it. If you meet people that went straight through, there's a common complaint is that they wish that they took a gap year. So don't worry, you're in really good position to get into med school. You're in a really good position to learn. So for me, I graduated in May 2013. I did a year scribing, and I also did a biochem class. And then I took the MCAT and I didn't get a good grade. So I decided to do a master's, which I did at Tulane. And I did a master's in anatomy. And then I graduated. And then I came back to Dallas and I worked at UT Southwestern in the psychology and psychiatry department. And then I also applied to school that year. So.
Well, my name is Yakira. I graduated from Rice University back in 2014. So I took 2 gap years off for my first year now. And my first gap year, I had worked as a scribe in the ED. And I also applied to medical school at that time. Granted, I did not get in. So what I did was I applied to a post-bac program or a special master's program that was 1 year non-thesis at the University of North Texas Health Science Center in Fort Worth. And I reapplied to med school while I was in that program and I got it.
Hey guys, my name is Datanye. I'm a first year medical student with Sandra. Where do we begin? I graduated in May 2013 from Tulane, and I immediately did another master's program because I graduated a little early and I wanted to be in school. I like school, and so when I finally graduated, I was like, okay, I really want to go to medical school, and so I need to study for my MCAT. And I took it and I didn't do well. And so I studied for it during the year. And then I actually applied to a post-bac program again at Tulane. And so I did that while I was applying to medical school.
So can y'all tell them a little bit about y'all's program and
Okay, so you have post-bac, which I think traditional post-bac is you go back and you take biology and physics and organic chemistry. And so that's for the people who may have graduated and they didn't know that they wanted to do medical school when they were going through school. And then they decide, I want to be a doctor. So they go back and it'll be a year or 2 years that you'll
you
just
get a
go
degree
through.
from that, or is that just classes?
I don't know. I know it's classes. You might get a certificate or something.
Yeah.
But
maybe another bachelor's.
Yeah, maybe another bachelor's, yeah. So you're just taking all the pre-med classes all together.
Okay.
And so there's that. And then there's a special master's program, which is what we did. So for us, it was anatomy. For her, it was biomedical sciences,
Yeah,
health
medical sciences, something like that.
And so there'll be random ones, all over the country. There's some even that if you do well in the program for the year, you'll get entry into that medical school the next year. So you just have to make a certain GPA, make a certain grade on the MCAT, and then you'll be in. So there's all different kinds. You have to do research.
Yeah.
So for us, it was just a master's in anatomy. It wasn't really anything too special, but we did take some classes with the medical students, anatomy and histology. And then we also had our own separate classes, so it was so we can kind of supplement it with the education that we were getting. And
I don't know a lot about other programs.
Yeah, that's true.
I only really know about the Tulane one. I know they're not all created equal. One thing that Alexis touched on is that for our program, we were actually taking courses with the medical students, and so it was really cool to be immersed in the environment that you sort of aspire towards. And so it's every day you're going to these courses and you're doing classes like gross anatomy. And to me, that was a big deal because it sort of solidified that, okay, this is exactly what I want to do, and this is exactly the environment where I want to be. And so
And
That's
it's also a good point to talk about on your interviews.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So during while I was applying, I was in my program, and everyone asked me about it. Like, oh, how does it feel to be taking gross anatomy and stuff like that? And they're like, oh, wow, that's actually an advantage, because a lot of people go to medical school without taking anatomy before.
Definitely.
Yeah. And so it was definitely cool and really opened my eyes.
So basically, to sum it up, the post-bac is taking undergraduate courses, right? You can have taken the prerequisites for medical school, but you need to enhance your GPA, right? So you can go back and take upper level undergraduate courses, or you can do the special master's program, which is what we all did. And I personally suggest that you look into the SMPs, special master's programs, because it's more like a 2-in-1. You can enhance your academic record, number one, and also it prepares you for medical school. So like at the UNC Health Science Center, it was not only an opportunity for me to show medical schools that I can do better, that I can improve, but also it shows them that I can handle their curriculum. And so like them, I did not take classes with the TCOM medical students, but we did take the same or similar classes. So we took pharmacology, histology, anatomy, physiology, microimmuno and all of that. So when I got to medical school, a lot of it was actually review. It's a lot. The master's program is doable, but it is a different pace compared to undergrad. It's still a lot thrown at you, but it at least prepares you for what's going to be thrown at you at medical school. So when I was thinking about my time here in Houston for med school, I'm thinking, wow, this is kind of like my master's program, but on steroids. It was a lot of information, but since I was kind of familiar with it, it allowed for me to grasp the information a little bit easier.
So for the student that wants to just improve their GPA, what should they do? Should they just go back and stay in school and retake the classes, or would it be better to do the special master's program like you said, or graduate, get their degree, and then go back and find a program that they like, or what would you suggest to them?
I would suggest do a special master's program, because the thing about post-bacs is if you've completed, let's say, 120 credit hours in undergrad, if you take a 3 credit hour organic chemistry or biochemistry course, it's not going to affect your GPA as much as having an entirely separate graduate GPA. Okay, so my GPA, to be honest with you, was kind of low. And I had to retake a class or two, okay? And my GPA didn't really improve that much, so I had this 3-point whatever GPA from undergrad, but then I had a much better GPA for the master's program, and so they see them as separate. There is the overall GPA as well, but at least they're separate entities to consider. So I would suggest the special master's program. Now, if it's more financially feasible to do the post-bac, that's okay. A lot of people still do post-bac, they still do DIY, do-it-yourself post-bac programs, and it's just fine. So
no matter what, like let's say MCAT, you want an upward trend in your MCAT.
Yeah.
If you're in your GPA, you want an upward trend in your GPA. So whatever is gonna make you better, do that.
Yeah.
If you need extracurriculars, do more extracurriculars.
Yeah.
Just better.
So you guys all took the MCAT one time and then took it again on a second time, right?
I took it 3 times.
I took it 3 times as well.
Okay, so how did you guys change your
Approach
and how did that correlate to your scores? So did you improve every time, or were there some major adjustments you got to make to actually improve? Like the second time you took it, it wasn't like you didn't do enough still, so you had to make another change. Like, what was that like?
For me, the first time I took it, I was trying to rush. I just graduated, and I was like, I really need to be in medical school as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And again, it's a year-long process to apply. And so I was just I graduated in May, and I was just I just need a month or 2, I'm sure I'll be good. And yeah, that wasn't the case, I needed to study more efficiently for it. And the second time I took it, I approached it differently in that I studied my weaknesses. And I think when you take these sort of exams, you like studying your strong point. Everyone likes doing that, because if you're good at something, why stop?
Yeah.
And so
it feels better to
feels better
to get the questions right on the practice test.
Exactly. So naturally, you want to avoid your weaker subjects. And for the second time, I was like, okay, I've studied this subject so much, and my score isn't really changing, you know. So I'm like, it's time to start studying my weaker stuff. And so that was really the way I approached it, and that ended up being
Working.
Common sense, you know. So yeah.
The first time I had no business taking the MCAT the first time I took it. I approached it kind of like the SAT. Oh, I'm just gonna go in there and see what this is about. You know, if I don't do well, then I'll just take it again. Not realizing, you know, ideally you want to take it only once. So I just kind of went in there and, you know, came out feeling pretty good about it because, you know, I wasn't even trying to hit a score. Anyway, I got my score back and it was incredibly low, like really, really, really low. Like I can't get into any school with it. I'll just put it that way. So I knew I was gonna have to take the MCAT again. That was my sophomore year of college, and then I was still trying to find myself. Right?
I
discovered myself.
Yeah.
I don't know why I took that. So then I took it again senior year, my spring of senior year. And I tried harder. You know, I did all the practice tests, but I was just short of my target score. And I think that was because I was also taking courses. You know, I was in the middle of my spring semester, my senior year, still taking upper level bio courses and everything. So I think that had an effect. And then finally, the third time, I realized that I really had to push the pedal to the metal if I was going to try to get into medical school. Just to backtrack, what I did was I didn't get in, so I did a file review with one of the medical schools at, Texas, whatever. And the admissions committee member said, I think, you know, it would be best if you do this S&P program and also just why not take the MCAT, you know, try to shoot for a higher score. So with that in mind, I'm just like, oh, dang, I really need to, like, get it together because what if she sees my my application, you know, and I don't do so well on MCAT. So that kind of pushed me and motivated me to try harder. So I ended up studying a little longer, 4 or 5 months on and off, because I was also moving to Fort Worth and Houston. And I was trying to figure out what resources were best for the new MCAT. So I took the old MCAT twice and the new MCAT once. And so I was definitely comparing the two of them together. And I used primarily exam crackers, but I did take a Princeton review course. But since the test was so new, they hadn't really adjusted to the new MCAT. So I was just trying to feel my way around what to use for the MCAT. But it turned out okay. So
you're here now.
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so to the student that just graduated undergrad, didn't get the MCAT score they wanted, doesn't feel confident about their application at all, doesn't feel confident, you know, applying to medical school, but also is just like kind of down on themselves about like still pursuing medicine. Did y'all ever go through a moment where y'all were like, maybe medicine isn't for me, you know, maybe if I didn't do well in undergrad or if I didn't do well in my MCAT the first time or the second time, like maybe I should just do something else or maybe I should go like another route. How do you encourage that student or how did you stay encouraged during that time?
It's definitely a discouraging time. I mean, we all have our emotional breakdowns and whatnot, but for me it was a matter of just like trusting my journey. So for me, I was like, if there's anything for me, like just reveal that passion to me so I can do that. Like, I mean, if this doctor thing isn't for me, I'll accept that, but at least I want to be passionate about something else that I want to do, but there was nothing else that I was passionate about. And so that was the point where I was like, okay, I have to do whatever I have to do to get into medical school. So you just like, you can't say no, like don't let no come into your vocabulary. And also like you have a strong support system, but like it doesn't matter if you don't believe in yourself. So you really have to believe in yourself, believe that you will improve, and just do whatever is necessary.
Also realize that you are not the only one going through this. There are people who are in medical school, there are people who are practicing physicians who went through the same stuff. There are physicians who didn't get in once or the first time, they didn't get in the second time, they didn't get in the third time, and they didn't get in the fourth time, you know, on and on and on, but they eventually got there. And at the end of the day, they're still physicians and attendings just like their counterparts who got in for the first time, or got in the first time.
Yeah. For me, I know that like, I always felt like I had options. Like I wasn't sure I wasn't sure what I wanted to be. I was like, I either want to be a doctor or either want to be a lawyer. and I was just like in identity moratorium, you know? I just didn't know. And for me, I always felt things like the English and the histories and the social sciences came like so much easier to me. And so I was like, should I be a doctor? Should I not? And I was like that even in high school. And so that followed, even when I got into medical school, I was like, should I be doing this? Like, I have to work a little bit harder for this. Is that normal? And even today, I'm not sure if that ever goes away.
That's you.
I don't know. And so, yeah.
She's like, speak for yourself, right?
That's great that you can have.
But I'm still here. So,
We're in the same class. I mean, but that's a good point though. Some people may not feel 100% at all times about what they want to do. And
I do feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Okay.
I just do wonder sometimes, like, could I be doing that? Sounds really bad.
I hear it's very common though.
No,
it is.
Yeah. A physician told me that I used to work for. She was like, at some point you're gonna question why you even got into this field anyway. I was just like, really? oh, thanks.
I mean, it's hard work. That's why I said, like, if there's anything else, because I'm not looking forward to 4 more years of school, then 4 years of residency, and what if I do a fellowship? I'm not looking forward to, like, a decade of my youth gone. Like, I'm not. So I was like, if there's anything else you want me to do, like, I will do that. But, here I am, here at the school. So, just trust the process. Because everybody's different. Everybody has a unique path in life. You just have to really, it's what makes you a better applicant. It makes you a better person. So don't look at it as a setback. It really does. It's like,
look at it that way.
It's an advantage.
Don't do it.
yeah. What made you go from Miami to Tulane? And
Yeah. So for me, I'm from Dallas. So I wanted to be close to home. So my first choice was TCOM, but their application actually passed. Their deadline passed by the time that I decided that I wanted to do a master's. So Tulane was like the next closest thing, and it was only a year. I only wanted a year program, and so I applied. That was the first place that I applied, and I got it. I applied out of state too, and I think it's really important to not. So let's say you're in a position where you have a low GPA or low MCAT. Make sure you look at the schools and their average that they accept or the range that they accept, because if you can't do too many dream schools and then expect to get in. Apply to where your score. Yeah, it is. Apply to where your scores match up.
yeah.
Don't forget DO schools, by the way.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
DO schools, people always look at DOs like, are they real doctors? Yes, they are real doctors, okay?
Yeah.
I am such a stickler for DO applicants, DO med students, and DO physicians, because they are just as capable. Now granted, because it is a less popular option, the averages will be a little lower, but that's only because it's less common. But they go through the same amount of training, so 4 years of med school and 3 to 6 years of residency, and they just end up with the rest of us. So definitely consider that as an option for sure.
They even have more opportunities for residency because they have DO residencies, and they can also apply to our residencies if they take our.
So proximity was a big deal for me too, being from Houston. So I wanted to go to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I had applied to the UNC program and also the certificate in biomedical sciences at University of Texas at Dallas. I ended up choosing the former because it is a master's program that gives you an extra master's GPA, and I felt like it prepared me, or it would prepare me more for medical school, just looking at the curriculum and what they offered. And I had also talked to that admissions committee member who told me, you know what, I think that this is a pretty good program. You should probably apply to this and see how far you get.
Also, there's another one of our classmates, Mina. She actually did a global health master's, and so to touch on the other masters, because there are others like public health and global health. So it's a good thing in that you'll get a multidisciplinary approach to medicine. And that's important, and you can really use that now. You can use that in your interviews. It'll really help you going forward. And also, just like I said, upward trend. So you just want to make really good grades in whatever you do. So whatever you do, just make good grades.
Perfect. Well, overall, the whole purpose of this vlog was to help students who maybe felt a little discouraged, who maybe felt like they didn't have any other options, or maybe they're past their second time trying to apply, or past their second time on their MCAT. there are options out there. There are ways for you to show improvement, like Alexis was saying, an upward trend, a way to show the admissions committees of medical schools that, you know, you are capable and you will be able to, you know, keep up with the rest of the students. There are different avenues you can take, and you don't have to feel pressured or feel like you have to take a specific route or go straight from undergrad to medical school. Trust me, they've done it and they're successful, they're here, they're brilliant, so y'all can do it too. Don't get discouraged and don't let anybody tell you that, you know, to give up on your dream. If you feel like you're passionate about this, if you feel like this is what's for you, then it's for you, and go after it no matter what.
If they're telling you to give up, it's time to cut them off.
Exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
I'd like to thank all my classmates, well, not all my classmates, these 3 classmates of mine for helping me out with this vlog. As always, follow me, send me emails, comments, like, subscribe. Thank y'all for watching another episode of Black Girl White Coat.